Imagine the best founders, the ones who could change everything, never standing in front of investors, never pitching, never jumping through endless rounds of questions that feel like traps. What if the game everyone else thinks is the only path was just another noisy distraction? What if the real power was quietly hiding somewhere else, behind the scenes where ambition meets patience and rebellion meets strategy? Think about how many breakthrough ideas die before you even hear their names. How many founders get crushed by the glare of the spotlight, by the pressure to perform perfectly on demand, by the endless cycle of convincing someone who only sees numbers instead of fire? There's a truth that no pitch deck can show. No slideshow, no rehearsed speech, no slick presentation can capture the raw, burning essence of what makes a founder truly unstoppable. Maybe the founder you're chasing, the one you want to back, doesn't want to pitch at all. Maybe they refuse to sell their dream in the language of compromise or in 20 slides. Maybe they walk a different path, less obvious, less flashy, but far more powerful. They don't bend to questions that box them in. They don't fit into meetings designed to filter out the exceptional. They create on the edge of chaos, where the world isn't ready to look, where true innovation doesn't need permission or applause. It's scary, admitting this, especially when you've been trained to believe the pitch is everything. The pitch is how you find, how you judge, how you decide who gets funded and who is left behind. But what if relying on the pitch is the problem? What if we're missing the founders who can't or won't perform for the system, but are quietly building what the future needs anyway? The pain you feel sitting through yet another presentation that sounds the same, that doesn't make your pulse race. That's proof. Proof that the system captures, polishes, and packages only what fits. It sidelines the wild, the uncompromising, the visionaries who burn too bright for the fluoro lights of the conference room. Those who pitch become predictable. Those who don't, they remain unpredictably dangerous, in the best way possible. So what do? How do you find these founders? How do you back the ones who burn too bright to show up in a measured corporate pitch meeting? You change the rules. You step off the stage where the noise is loud and empty, and you start listening deeply, beyond the slides, beyond rehearsed stories. You build a network of whispers, of late-night messages, of quiet meetings where ideas are raw and trembling with potential. You become the curator of essence, not noise. You search for the signal where others only hear static. Look closer. Those founders often don't shout because they're building. They're obsessing over the product, the market, the subtle shifts no one else sees yet. They don't pitch because they know the system isn't built for them. It's built for the safe, the average, the hand-holding comfort zone that kills fire. And fire is exactly what you need. Listen to them. Watch how they move. They don't seek permission. They create it. They operate on a different timeline, one measured by iteration and insight, not by VC calendars. They understand that transformation takes time, and that rushing to pitch is like trying to wear boots before your feet have grown. You want to help these founders? Then stop waiting for them to ask. Stop expecting neat packages and polished speeches. Instead, offer space for chaos, for rawness, for growth that looks messy and uncertain. Build relationships, not transactions. Embrace patience. The best founders know this. It's why they hesitate at the gate you guard so tightly. Money isn't the motivation here. Power isn't the goal. The founders who refuse to pitch are motivated by a fire inside that no spreadsheet can capture. The relentless drive to create what has never existed before. To see where others think there's only dead ends. To refuse a borrowed life, a borrowed set of rules. Here's the unspoken truth. If you're constantly chasing the pitch, you're playing a long game you're almost guaranteed to lose. The world is full of people good at pitching, and it's empty of those rare few whose very existence is a challenge to the system. The key is learning to see those who don't fit, who don't play by the rules we built, who choose silence over noise. Support the invisible rebels, the founders who build in shadows, the ones who are done waiting to be seen, who make moves without asking for approval. Because in the quiet corners of the world, in the moments unlit by spotlight, the future is being born. Your edge as an investor isn't just about money or meetings or data. It's about attitude and vision. What if you believe the most valuable founders don't show up to pitch at all? What if your role isn't to hear the pitch but to understand the drive so deep it doesn't need to be explained? What if you learned to trust that silence could be louder than any presentation? Here's how you start. First, slow down. Stop trying to scan 10 pitches a day. Instead, focus on the few that unsettle you in ways you can't explain. The ones that feel dangerous to your worldview. The founders who don't want to tell their story yet, but build worlds in the meantime. Follow the clues they leave: network signals, early adopters' whispers, product footprints. Create channels where raw conversations thrive, not filtered boardroom decks. Second, seek out founders who reject the mainstream, those who question rules instead of accepting them, those who transform reality rather than polish existing ideas. They are rare, they are messy, they won't fit your spreadsheets neatly, but they are where real progress lives. Third, learn to endure silence, because true creation isn't noisy. It's patience and obsession mixed with breaks of clarity. It's fires that burn out of sight before exploding. Your job is to recognize that early, to invest in potential, not performance. And fourth, build a tribe, a circle where those who dare to be different can find strength, not judgment. A place where the few who burn as you do can align, support, and challenge each other beyond the glare of conformity. If you embrace this, you unlock a different kind of power, the power to spot the unseen, to back the unbackable, and to free the brightest fires from cages of expectation. You become the rebel in a system that rewards obedience. You become the edge that cuts through the noise of mediocrity. Because the world isn't waiting for another pitch. The world is waiting for those who will stop pitching and start building something truly new. When you find them, back them. Not because they prepare a script, but because they refuse to write one. Don't fall for the illusion that founders need to beg for permission with polished slides. True founders don't ask. They answer. They act. They create. And their power is in what they do quietly when nobody's watching. What if the greatest founders never pitch because they don't want to be boxed? Because their vision is so wild, so raw, that explaining it in slides is impossible? What if the best way to find them is to stop listening to pitches and start paying attention to who's quietly changing the rules? The pain of sifting through endless presentations, of listening to rehearsed answers for questions designed to pin down, is real. But it's a symptom of an outdated system, one built to limit rather than liberate. You can be part of something different. You can choose the long game of transformation, the slow burn of trust, the quiet rebellion of belief in people who refuse to belong. This isn't easy. It's not neat. It's not fast. But it's where the magic happens. It's where the real founders live. The ones who don't pitch, because they're too busy becoming. If you want to find the future, you have to stop expecting it to knock politely and start looking where others refuse to go. Now imagine being that investor, the one who backs the unbackable, who sees beyond pitch decks into fire, who understands that freedom and transformation don't come in bullet points, but in raw, relentless purpose. Let that obsession drive every call you make, every connection you pursue, every decision you take. Because if the best founders never pitch at all, then your power lies in recognizing the power beyond the pitch. And once you do, nothing will ever be the same.